Hi there. Today we'll talk about an often missed out topic, food wastage. I'm sure we all are in love with the idea of photos of our aesthetic food plates, but a lot of us are equally guilty of wasting food every day. When we see such pictures, it breaks our heart. But this is actually where the food should have reached. But alas, it often ends up here. We Indians especially love extravagance in our family functions, weddings, for example. I'm sure that I don't need to remind you of how, after every function, we are left with surplus food that ultimately gets wasted. If the people have no bread, let them eat cake, said Marie Antoinette, a heartbreaking line that defined the French Revolution. Our country has had its fair share of food-related tragedies in the pages of history. For example, the famine of Bengal in the 1770s. Farmers were forced to grow only indigo and opium. There was no food reserves for Indians. It killed at least 10 million Indians. Famines are often a human-induced calamity, as we've always read in our history books that the British were responsible for this human-induced famine. The famine countryside in an image from the Madras Presidency. Another devastating famine, the famine of 1943. It was because of loss of trade with Burma, coupled with World War II, along with a cyclone and three separate tidal waves that destroyed around 3,200 square miles of farmland. An unpredictable fungus destroyed 90% of the crops of rice. Refugees were fleeing Burma and increasing the need for food supplies. 7 million Indians and Burmese refugees had died of starvation. The time when the industrialized world saw a boom, we were drowning in want. Hunger is defined by the FAO as a feeling of discomfort, weakness, or pain. It is the body's response to lack of food. 2 million children in the world are acutely malnourished. Malnutrition is defined by the WHO as deficiencies, excesses, or imbalances in a person's intake of energy and/or nutrients. 1 in 12 children in the world is malnourished. That amounts to 52 million children. Every 30 seconds, somewhere in the world, a child dies of acute malnutrition. Nutrition is critical to achieve a sustained economic growth. The Sustainable Development Goal 2 states end hunger, achieve food security, and improved nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. 800 million, or 1 in 9 people in the world, suffer from hunger. 1 in 4 people in sub-Saharan Africa suffer chronic hunger, but South Asia has the largest number of undernourished, that is, amounting to 281 million. 1 in 4 children under the age of 5 are stunted due to chronic undernutrition. More than 2 billion people worldwide suffer from at least one or more micronutrient deficiency, which is also known as hidden hunger. Food supply has to be increased by more than 50% to meet the projected demands of the world population by 2050, that is estimated to be more than 9 billion. Now some facts and figures about India. India wastes as much as UK consumes annually. The UNDP surveyed that up to 40% of the food produced in India is wasted. 21 million tons of wheat is wasted annually. 50% of the food in the world goes waste. Rupees 50 1,000 crore worth of food produced annually is wasted, according to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare. 65 millions are the hungry in India, that is more than the population of France. Here is a picture of the grain wastage by the Food Corporation of India. 20 crore Indians sleep hungry on a given night. In the year 2012, 7 million died due to hunger or malnutrition. National Family Health Survey found out that Narendra Modi's parliamentary constituency, that is Varanasi, has over 1 lakh malnourished children. The Global Hunger Index is a peer-reviewed annual report jointly published by Concern Worldwide and Wealth Hunger Life, designed to comprehensively measure and track hunger at the global, regional, and country levels. GHI scores are calculated each year to assess the progress and setbacks in combating hunger. The GHI is designed to raise awareness and understanding of the struggle against hunger, provide a way to compare levels of hunger between countries and regions, and call attention to those areas of the world where hunger levels are highest and where the need for additional efforts to eliminate hunger is the greatest. In 2019, the Global Hunger Index ranked India as the 102nd out of 117 qualifying countries with a score of 30.3, which means a serious level of hunger. Along with hunger, food wastage has also a lot of other breakthrough effects, like wastage of fresh water. It has been seen that 25% of fresh water is used to produce food that is ultimately wasted, even as millions don't have access to drinking water. When this figure is calculated in cubic kilometers, this is a bit more than an average river. 300 million barrels of oil is used to cook food that is wasted annually. Rampant deforestation is also undertaken for agriculture to grow the food that we eat. Food waste is the single largest component that is going into municipal landfills, and it quickly generates methane, which is a greenhouse gas, and that has an impact that is 25 times greater on climate change than carbon dioxide. Thus, food waste on such a large scale is not only an economic loss, but it is also socially and environmentally unjustifiable. 36 million tons of food waste go into our landfills, and less than 3% of that is recovered and recycled. But there are also certain success stories. For example, Mr. Chandrasekhar and his organization, Food, Education and Economic Development, also known as FEED. He and his team of students visit eateries regularly to collect food. The eateries give away the excess food which they would have otherwise thrown away. He said that he was shocked to know from the RTI report sent by him to the FCI that around 22,000 metric tons of food grains had gone bad over the past 2 years in the FCI warehouses across the country. And this amount of food, he says, would have been enough to feed around 1 crore children. Mr. Narayan Krishnan from Madurai in Tamil Nadu, he cooks and distributes food to the poor and mentally ill people on the streets. And what can you do about the food waste? Number one, plan out the grocery that you actually need. About 20% of what we buy in urban India ends up being thrown away. Select the food items according to its shelf life. Cook only as much as required and refrigerate the leftovers. Compost the spoiled food. Check with NGOs, orphanages, or old age homes to manage excess food in marriages, parties, etc. And finally, finish your plate. Finally, I hope you remember that with just one plate, you can make a hungry child smile. Thank you so much.